Good morning to all of you on the West Coast, and good afternoon. It's high noon here on the East Coast. It is freezing, I might add, in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm sure if you're anywhere from Florida to to the Northeast and New England area, you're feeling the same way. Crazy weather we're having to start the new year. But welcome to the January edition, RapidScale's January edition. I should say the 2018 edition of our monthly sales webinar. Bob Buchanan here, EVP of Sales and Marketing for RapidScale, and excited to get the year going, and excited to be speaking with you. Hope everyone had a great holiday season, great new year, and that you're excited as I am to get back to it. Before we get started, 2017, phenomenal year for RapidScale. Best year in history, phenomenal year for many of our partners that joined and shared in our success. That being said, we are so bullish on what lies ahead in 2018, and we expect, in fact, we know that we're going to surpass the success we had in 17. The pipeline's there, the partner community is growing, and just the market itself is pulling us in a very positive direction. So can't wait to see you all in the field, and really looking forward to, again, sharing in that success and helping our customers in 17. I will say this, we are going to continue this format, the monthly format, 30 minutes or so each month, providing updates, sharing content, sharing sales skills, mixing in some technical training. I am always looking for feedback from the partner community. Help us understand what you want to learn about. Help us understand what you want to hear about. And you can come to me directly. You can come to Summer Fagoni. You can come to our marketing team. You can go to your channel manager. You can go to our team and say, listen, this is what I'd love to hear. We're always looking for ideas, and we're actually even contemplating bringing in a partner sessions and discussing with them how they have been winning with RapidScale and winning with selling cloud services. So keep the ideas coming, and open to all of those concepts. So, as always, guys, the session's being recorded. You can ask questions through chat during the session. We'll send out the deck afterwards to everyone that's registered, and really do encourage you to give us feedback on how we can make improvements. So let's get started, right? So some 2018 cloud market statistics, and no surprise, things are growing and accelerating. And again, we're kind of riding the tidal wave. Cloud users running applications in an average of 1.8 apps. So per user, 1.8 apps in public cloud, 2.3 apps in private cloud. So kind of a hybrid approach. Almost every company today, in some form or fashion, is leveraging both private and public clouds. And per user, those apps are being delivered either internal to their own organization or external to a provider. Cloud services are anticipated to grow 24.4% year over year to just over 122 billion. SaaS, so software as a service, will account for 60% of all cloud-based workloads, 12% increase over the 2017 predictions. And right, this should not be a surprise, folks. When you think about software as a service and the acceleration in that market, Salesforce.com. Today we use NetSuite here, Concur, right? All these applications, in leveraging multi-tenancy software apps on demand versus doing it yourself, that market's going to continue to see accelerated success. But it also doesn't solve everything. There's infrastructure as a service, there's platform as a service, there's DR as a service, and of course, near and dear to our heart, there's desktop as a service. More than 50% of IT spending will be cloud-based by the end of 2018. Pretty phenomenal number. And then the demand for cloud will grow 18% this year to 246.8 billion in total worldwide revenue. Amazing stat right there. So what are some of what we see as key trends? And right, again, these are things that if you're a seller, if you're a partner, you're out looking for cloud opportunities, what should you be thinking about? We already stated the growth of SaaS, but really the growth in cloud services in general, and just understanding if this growth is happening, if 50% of all IT spend is going to the cloud, and you're working with customers that haven't taken that step, in a very professional way, in a non-threatening way, we should be having discussions about why that's happening. Why are they not getting into the cloud? Security. You know what? There's all types of security and breaches that are in the news. We can name the big ones, right? The Equifax, Target, attacks like WannaCry, different types of ransomware. These are happening every day. But while it's interesting, it's the biggest ones that get all the news. The vast majority of the attacks are happening to everyday organizations. I'll tell you, this is a great talking piece. If you're talking to a CIO, an IT director, someone who's responsible for risk mitigation, ask them if they've had any type of security breach or if they're concerned about risk. The vast majority of them have. They've actually been a victim of ransomware. How have they handled it? There's a number of different ways to mitigate that risk. Some of the easy things to do are obviously back up your data, but these are really good business starters because these are real problems and challenges that your customers are facing. And then kind of a new term, we've all heard of Internet of Things. Well, I think you're going to start to see the Internet of Everything, right? So when you think about Internet of Things, you think about making appliances or really any type of device that can be accessible via the internet or via an IP address, right? And added to a network. But that's kind of device to device. And what I think you're going to start seeing is this in this Internet of Everything concept, it kind of relies on machine to machine, but also machine to people. So there's a human element that is going to come into play and really going to make a major impact to the ecosystem and the technology ecosystem we're working in. So keep an eye out for the Internet of Everything, and I encourage you to kind of to do some research on the concepts. It was I think initially came to fruition through kind of a Cisco conceptual model. So selling tips for 2018. This probably could be an entire session in itself, folks, but invest in your knowledge. And of course, we would love for you to invest in your knowledge about RapidScale in our portfolio. But I think if you've been on these calls, if you've spent any time listening to myself or maybe even my counterpart, our SVP Technology, Dwayne Barnes, talk, you'll notice that we're not always talking just about RapidScale's portfolio. We're trying to have a discussion or provide market trends around what's happening in the broader marketplace. And that's the start, right? What's actually taking shape here? So get educated on what's going on in the market. But if you do want to get educated on RapidScale, we have great tools that are at your disposal. And it starts with our cloud university that's online. If you don't have those credentials, again, come to me, come to your channel manager, come to Summer, come to our marketing team. It is free content that is out there and available to you. You know what? We'll do these webinars private, one-on-one for our partners, right? So we'll take it and really zero in on, you want to learn about security in our security practice. You want to learn more about desktop. We're happy to schedule that. Work with your channel manager, work with myself, work with Summer. We'll get that handled for you. We'll come on site. We'll do a discovery workshop where we actually sit down with you. And we've done this both with one partner, kind of a one-on-one scenario. We've done it with multiple partners. It's worked really well, where we put them in teams and we describe maybe some of the business challenges that kind of a fictitious organization or make-believe organization. So, for example, Acme Corporation is trying to go to market. They've got these challenges. Maybe there's a merger or acquisition, a new line of business. These are the things that they're facing. How do they solve these problems, right? And we align the solution with a RapidScale type go-to-market, if you will. So invest your knowledge, work with us. We have the tools, and we'd love to work with you on it. If you don't come to us, I will tell you that many of the master agents have great tools as well, and they include RapidScale's portfolio, but also a broad range of technologies, and some of those guys do a really good job with enablement. So that'd be my recommendation there. Highlight the importance of security and compliance. Again, we've touched on it, but these are great conversation starters, especially for those of you who are just trying to make that shift, get into the cloud. It's tougher to talk about speeds and feeds. It's a lot easier to talk about, what are the challenges that are facing you? Have you experienced an attack? Have you been a victim of ransomware? What are the things that keep you up at night from a security standpoint? Have any of your peers out there, like if you're a bank or a community bank, man, I guarantee you this is top of the list. And these lead to conversations that lead to, over time, opportunities. Knowing how to position OpEx versus CapEx. And this is great. I think everyone out there says, hey, automatically, customers want to drive towards OpEx. It's not always true. I think there's a trend, of course, to move to OpEx, and there's a lot of really good reasons to do just that. But perhaps you're an early stage organization where cash is precious. OpEx would be a very good model. Perhaps you are a more mature organization that really doesn't want to have a depreciating asset on your books, and OpEx becomes a really good model. Those are good reasons. On the flip side, you might be an equity-backed organization, and maybe OpEx doesn't look as good, and CapEx is preferred. Obviously, we love OpEx here at RapidScale. That's really what we're part of our value proposition as a cloud provider. But you know what? You need to understand that and understand kind of what the life cycle is of your customer, where they're at in their buying cycle or evolution of a business. Because you know what? If they value CapEx and we're trying to just push an OpEx model on them, probably not going to lead to a sale. Good to understand that. Moving to an IT consumption model seamlessly. I've talked a lot about the trend to move from a traditional IT model to a consumption model, right? So consuming IT differently, consuming it as on demand, as a utility. Obviously, this is happening, and we've talked about it at length, everything from Office 365 to how you deploy desktops, to how you leverage the hyperscalers. It's becoming more and more transparent that organizations want to consume IT on demand versus buying boxes, and that pressure is being felt within the manufacturer community and certainly within the VAR community. But I think the biggest challenge here, and the point that I would kind of zero in on, is what are the biggest risks, especially in the SMB markets, of getting to the cloud? We're finding that it's maybe a lack of education on the customer part around how to actually get there. How do they do the migration, right? And you might have an IT decision maker or stakeholder that's saying, it's a little too risky. I'm not sure I want to do that, or I have limited resources. Well, the good thing is we're really good at migrations, and we actually want to do them. We would rather, in fact, conduct that migration on behalf of the customer than actually have them do it themselves, especially if we're going to manage those workloads ongoing and that infrastructure ongoing. At the same time, for that IT manager who's sitting there thinking, I don't know if I want to do that. For those of you who've read the Challenger sale, this is a great opportunity to leverage some of those concepts. I think, again, professionally, in a non-threatening manner, it's okay to challenge some of those decision makers. And for example, if you're an IT leader today and you're sitting there working at your job, feeling safe, the next time you go look for a job in this climate, in this day and time, and you don't have on your resume the experience of moving any type of workload to the cloud, how marketable is that person going to actually be in today's world? I can tell you, probably not very. So again, I think there's ways in tactics and different things and conversations that we can have in the field with our customers around, what can motivate them or help them to make these decisions. So beyond selling tips and market trends, what's happening at RapidScale? 2018, guys, I think we've been overly vocal around the growth, some of our hiring plans in 17, how those are going to translate into 18. I have been aggressively seeking talent in the marketplace in two particular markets for the last several months, really the better part of the fourth quarter. Very pleased to announce two recent hires. Kyle Surratt comes from us from a very large competitor in the marketplace. He's got 8 years experience, and he's going to cover effective immediately. He actually started yesterday. He's going to cover the entire central region for RapidScale, based out of Texas, and we are thrilled to have him. Dale Journay is going to be starting and joining RapidScale next week. Again, very experienced channel manager with very solid business and sales acumen, really understands channels. He'll be based in Southern California, and will handle what we call our SoCal region. Excited to have these folks join our team, excited to be building on the talent that already exists. If you're a partner that's in this region, I can assure you in the coming weeks, you'll be, if not days, you'll be hearing from these individuals and getting introduced. I included a copy of our new sales map with these two new hires. This includes contact information, territory assignments. It also includes our sales engineer coverage. We did make an additional hire in Texas covering our central region to complement Kyle with the addition of Scott Ward to that team. So really feel that we've got the right team, a strong pool of talent to take us into 18 and help us all accomplish those really aggressive goals. Looking ahead, just giving you some visibility into our channel managers and what you might expect. Early in 2018, in Q1, we do anticipate hiring an eighth, what would be an eighth channel manager to the team, and thinking about considering all the success we're having in that northeast region, that northeast corridor, which is heavily populated with lots of RapidScale partners. Looking to split that territory and add someone maybe in the either the Philadelphia or maybe more ideally around the New York metro area. So if you know of anyone out there that's a talented individual that would match culturally with RapidScale, we'd certainly love to consider them. So what else is happening with RapidScale? Well, when you think about our portfolio, we certainly have, we kind of talked in different service categories or sectors. Everyone's by now familiar with infrastructure as a service and disaster recovery as a service and desktop and so on. We're really going to market with, and by the way, those concepts are not going away. But those are individual products, right? They're products that we offer. We're going to market to be able to maybe simplify that message around how we support our customers. And if you think about three different tiers, kind of that RapidScale, tier one being that RapidScale unmanaged IT, right? So you've got a customer that really just needs compute infrastructure, high availability, give me my CPUs, give me my memory, give me my storage. But you know what? I'm a fairly technical customer. I just want to manage my guest operating systems, my backups, my patching, right? Their firewall security. They're going to do a lot of that on their own. Maybe even at the desktop layer, they're just going to do it a lot on their own. They don't need us for help desk. So you have this unmanaged IT. I just want compute. And then you have a hybrid IT model. And by the way, I think this really separates RapidScale from a lot of the competitors because it really shows it highlights and emphasizes a couple of our core pillars. Easy to do business with, agile, right? Being flexible. So in that hybrid IT model, you got a customer who's got some internal resources and there's some things that they do really well and they want to continue to do them, but they want to augment some of this stuff. And they're looking for a provider that can help them with some firm lines of delineation and not be overly rigid. And that's where we come in. So we'll determine the existing skill sets that a customer has, what the requirements are, and in order to determine the most cost-effective, customized solution for their business. And again, I think this happens a lot, and we're overly excited about communicating this new hybrid model. And I shouldn't even say it's new. It's what we've been doing. We're just, I think, branding it a little bit better and communicating to our partners and our customers about how we're actually doing it. And then the furthest and last, the first on the right there, managed IT. And this is where that customer, this happens a lot. And they've got limited IT, 1, 2, 3 people. They're just trying to manage and keep the infrastructure up and on. But they want to focus on more strategic things of the business and outsource as much as they possibly can. And as the title describes, that's where we go up vertically up the technology stack and start managing almost everything. And to expand on this a little bit, you'll notice this next slide, RapidScale management responsibilities versus the customer management responsibilities. And again, that unmanaged IT, hey, you know what? We're there for one-time assistance. Maybe we're doing the migration. Maybe it's kind of ad hoc, but you'll notice they've got a lot of the control, a lot of self-service, customer operated, customer managed. It's just infrastructure. And by the way, that's the most commoditized. Those are the deals where we're going to get in and probably have the hardest time winning, but we can do it. Hybrid managed IT, again, you know what? This is not all encompassing. The graph is not meant to be all encompassing of all of our services. It's meant to be more of a model. It's an example, but you might have, you know, an example might be Microsoft Azure ADFS. They need help monitoring, a premise server integration, backup and restore, patching, as I mentioned. But you know what? There's some shared responsibility across the environment. And then all the way to the right, again, what's on the customer? Managing the relationship with us, their vendor. And then I spoke of this last month, but we'll finish up with just a review of what you can expect from RapidScale in 2018. We're looking at over 30 additional employees, support, engineering, pre-sales, and sales, right? We conducted our first kind of partner roundtable in November. It was late November, right before Thanksgiving, where we brought in an intimate group of partners to help us really to get better. There's no other way to say it. About 7 partners came in, some of which had done quite a bit of business with us, some of which were just getting started. But we sought their feedback around what we were doing, where we were headed. We're looking for their direction on how we can improve. And it was a great session. We did on the West Coast in Irvine, and we'll be looking to do one on the East Coast, probably here in our new Raleigh office. Growing the account management team. We're making some wholesale changes to our internal team and how we support our customers. I'm a big believer in providing additional customer support, but also providing a proactive selling environment into the account management or into the base. And that benefits the customer. It also benefits RapidScale, and certainly last but not least, it definitely benefits our partner community. When you bring on a new customer to RapidScale in that first 12 to 18 months, that's a very critical time because those customers tend to grow substantially over that first year. And then we're looking at, you know, new routes to revenue and identifying not only new markets organically that we can tap into, but also new channel kind of avenues, if you will, right? What are the untapped channels that RapidScale maybe hasn't traditionally had as much success? We're examining that and really looking to penetrate markets to expand and grow our business. To continue that, cloud platforms. Guys, there has not been a formal announcement. We have not made a firm decision, and if we have, we certainly are not saying it publicly around data centers, exact location, timing, but I can tell you from a high level in 2018, we have zeroed in on the Pacific Northwest, likely Seattle, to add what would be our 4th U.S. domestic cloud platform. It would be our 6th platform globally, and really highly confident that we'll be making that formal announcement here in the coming weeks. Expansion of our cloud portfolio. Today we are one of the leading Citrix CSPs, and we're very passionate and very protective of that relationship. And by no means are we looking to threaten that relationship. But just like you might be a Windows shop or a Linux shop, we do get demand to support VMware Horizon on the desktop. And with our Vonage acquisition 17, we gained that experience. So we're looking to deploy a new multi-tenant infrastructure that would complement our current Citrix deployments. We did accomplish SSA 16 and worked on Type 2 and Type 1 for compliancy, but in 2018, you'll be seeing PCI level 1 in Q2 and further compliancy beyond that, but with confidence, I can say Q2, we're looking at PCI. Partner development, enhancements to the portal, enhancements to the brand, a lot more that's going to happen with video to get our message out and to help you. Those are the things from a partner development, marketing, and certainly partner enablement that you can expect. So again, phenomenal 17. Looking forward to a great 2018. Couldn't happen without you. Our partner community is essential. Really, there's no direct business today with RapidScale if we don't sell with our partner community. You know what? We're not selling. So we're investing in the tools. We're investing the marketing dollars. We're investing in the partners that want to align with us for success, and you're going to continue to see that be the theme for 2018. So with that, Summer, Z, I will turn it back to you. And before we wrap up, see if there were any questions.
Yep, so we have 3 for you. One being, are we seeing more of a demand for on-site support at the customer premises?
It's a good question, and actually a timely one. And the answer is yes. I mean, I think, it's a double-edged sword, right? If you're that managed IT customer, so we're handing a lot of the technology up the stack, probably means you have limited IT on staff, and we might be displacing a third-party IT consultant that maybe was helping. In some cases, it could be an MSP. It could be a cloud competitor that looks similar to us. But for any case, what typically happens is because of the limited IT resources, there's a comfort level or a lack thereof with who might handle some of the miscellaneous stuff that isn't in the cloud. Maybe they've got some workstations or a printer or a switcher or a router, and who's going to handle that? I kind of call it maybe the 5%, or in IT terms, maybe it's the last mile. The things that are out there that could go wrong, from the low probability of going wrong, but they could. Who handles that? And we do get asked to handle some of that stuff. Today, it would be impractical to handle every solution by sending someone out, across the country because your printer broke. There's not a business model behind that. But we've made the decision that there certainly is a business model, especially in some select markets. I believe we're targeting the Greater Carolinas. I think we're targeting Southern California around Orange County, and we're targeting Metro DC, kind of Northern Virginia, as where we're going to market in 18 with these services that can provide on-site support. This is a scenario where the customer really does want a RapidScale badged employee on site to perform very specific tasks, but also handle both a proactive approach, handling specific tasks, handling documentation, audits, controls, policies, procedures, day-to-day management, and it would range from a few hours a month to maybe increasing based on need. And then it could be more of a reactive approach, right, as well. You know what, something actually did happen. I need you to get out here at your earliest convenience and assist. So I guess it was a long answer to that question, but it's really good that you've asked it, because it is something that's been coming up, and we're putting a model in place to address it. Though today in 18, it'll be limited to very specific to some markets where we've seen the most demand. So thanks again. Good question. What's the second one, Z?
Okay, the second one is, if I've never sold cloud really, but want to get into it, what is the one piece of advice you'd give?
Kind of goes back to the sales tips, and I guess this is one piece of advice, right? I think that all too often it's our nature, because I think, you know, we're as sellers, we tend to be, you know, whether you're technical on the cloud side or not, you probably have a technical background, and maybe it's data, maybe it's voice, maybe it's, you know, in networks, maybe it, you know, maybe it is servers, I don't know, but I would shy away day one from trying to be the expert, or being afraid of, maybe being afraid of, try not to be afraid of not being the expert, if you will, and have more business discussions. Enter into non-threatening discussions around, you know, risk, compliance, security. Enter into discussions around, you know, their business now, over 12, 18, 24 months, mergers and acquisitions, maybe stakeholders who have left the organization, right? Look for things that create what I would call a compelling event, right? And then how are those things going to be solved? There's other areas to find opportunities, but really searching for that compelling event and having business discussions is really the one piece of advice that I would give. I also would maybe complement that with, if you're going to think speeds and feeds, if that's what you want to do, don't think about user count, CPU, memory, RAM, all that stuff, locations. Think about, what are the applications inside that business? And what I mean by that is, an application could be mail. An application could be their CRM application, right? Their billing, finance application. What are the applications that run the business, both internal and external? Who uses those applications? And most importantly, today, where do they reside? Thinking about the application, no different, I think, maybe from a UCaaS scenario, but thinking about the apps, thinking about where those workloads are, how they use them to run the business, and having business discussions, tying those into business discussions, will lead to great opportunities. Cool.
Okay, great.
Last one, Z?
Then yes. So we have, can you provide questions to ask around IT security?
That's a good question. And the answer is definitely yes. When we send out, I'll speak to a couple that are top of mind, but when we send out the presentation following this session, I'll actually work with some of our security folks and maybe give you something that's a little bit more thorough and intelligent than what I can give. I certainly would start with, have you been compromised, right? Have you experienced a breach? I think those are really good. Again, those are more lines of business discussions to have. What applications present the biggest risk, right? Probably anything web-facing. But I'll definitely work on a couple questions that we'll include when we send out the presentation a little bit later on this afternoon. Excellent question. All right, we slipped just 4 minutes past my target of 30 minutes, but that's okay. Appreciate the questions. Appreciate you all listening in. We will see you. Next month, so it'll be February. Hopefully, we're hearing from you before then. Love to see you out in the field, and good luck to everyone getting off to a great start in 2018. Take care. Happy selling.